guys, it's Lover16 here and welcome back to another Breyer video. So if you couldn't tell by the title, today I'm going to be showing you my new and updated collection. Before we get into it, I just wanted to apologize for being very inactive. I literally haven't uploaded in 2 months and I sincerely apologize. But I'm not going to spend 2 minutes explaining why I've been inactive, so let's get right into it. We're going to start on the top shelf with my lovely ruffians. We're going to start with the one and only Ruffian. I actually purchased her at Breyerfest and I decided to name her Eclipse. Next is Rags to Riches and I named her Charlie. Then here is my beloved American Pharaoh with his wonderful Nan cards, and his name is Hunter. This is Black Caviar and I named her Luna. Next up is Rachel Alexandra and her name is Evelyn. And finally the last Ruffian of my conga is Heartland and I named her Harper. Also, my shelves are very dusty. I have not cleaned my shelves in months, so just please excuse the dust on the horses' faces. Now we're going to move on to my lovely Gigi Valentines. These are my two Gigi Valentines. The one on the left is actually my show Gigi Valentine, which is the one that I bring to shows, and the one on the right is the one I use for photography. I actually have another Gigi Valentine down there. You can see the tail. I'm in the process of resculpting her and another heartbreaker. I've actually not touched them in months because I actually kind of given up on them, so I might be throwing them away, sadly. I started them October 2016, so it's been a year since I originally started them. And if I take them out, the Gigi Valentine has gotten a lot further than the Heartbreaker. As you can see, I'm trying to make her look like this. I'll insert a picture. And I wanted to paint her and the foal to look like Equiali's horses, Callie and TJ. But TJ's an adult now, so I don't know. I've kind of given up on the foal. I think I'm going to keep resculpting the mom, but the foal I think is a little bit too difficult for me. Here's the foal. I wanted him to look like this, but I didn't know if I'll be able to do it. I'm going to keep trying. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get my hands on them again. Both of my Gigi Valentines are named Adina. That is, oh my god, the phone! Both of my Gigi Valentines are named Athena since I was too lazy to come up with separate names for both of them. And here is Stage Mom. I named her Karina and I bought her at Breyerfest with her lovely full child star. This lighting does not do her justice. She is literally so pretty. And that is the top shelf. Moving on to the second shelf, we're going to start off with my lovely Iticuses. This is Breyer Snowman, also known as Noble. Next to him is Wapiti, also known as Mendel. And next to him is Buttercream, also known as Casper. I mean, look at that little nose. Look how cute his face is. And then we have Breyer Brunello, also known as Bruno. I know I'm very creative, right? Next to Bruno is Breyer Ravel, also known as Connor. Again, please excuse the dust. It's very bad. Down to my Smarty Joneses. We're going to start off with the original Smarty Jones, and I named him Cleric. Then we have one of my favorite Breyers, Secretariat, also known as Big Red. A little short story, the movie Secretariat actually got me into Breyers and horses. Next up is my poor Frankel, who has so many shiny marks because when I first bought him, I used to use him in so many films and so many pictures that he's just in horrible condition. Like, you can see all the shiny marks. So I feel really bad that he's in such bad condition. But maybe one day I'll get a better quality one. Anyways, his name is Manifest. Next to Manifest is the Breyer Polo Pony, also known as Storm. Then here we have my very dusty Vallegro and his little mini-me, and another little mini-winnie that I don't know the name. And Vallegro's name is Apollo. That is the second shelf. Moving on to my third shelf, which I call the foal shelf, because as you can tell, most of the horses on the shelf are foals. Starting off, here are my two original Ambers. I actually don't really know why I have two. I originally got one for my movie Avion, and I found another one at an antique store, and I just kept it. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but I might paint one of them. Both of them's names are Aster. I didn't really come up with a name for the other one, but I just call them the two Asters. Next up is my, I don't really know what this Breyer's actually called, but I just call it my Palomino Amber, and I named her Willow. And as most of you know, she stars as Colette in Avion. Also, that she stars as Jezebel in Avion as well. It's kind of funny how they're right next to each other since they're sisters in the movie. Next up is the Appaloosa Amber, and her name is Dreamer, as you can tell by her halter. And my last amber is Sweet Pea, and I named her Timora. Actually, I almost forgot about my beautiful amber custom, which I did myself. I did not resculpt her, but I did paint her. She is painted to a dark dapple bay. You can't see the dapples right now. Maybe if I put her over here. Yeah, you can see the dapples now, and she has a little cookie in her mouth, and she is absolutely adorable. And her name is Eden. Next up are my two Zendaya's First Colts. I didn't really come up with names for both of them, but I just call them Otis 1 and Otis 2. The one on the left is the one I use for pictures and movies, and the one on the right is the one I use for shows. As you can tell, he has a Nan card. In the middle of all of them is my beautiful Star Child. And I bought him at Breyer Fest along with his beautiful mama, Stage Mom. His name is Romeo. And sadly, he can't stand very well, so I don't know if you can see that, but he has a little thing underneath his back foot so he can be able to stand. And lastly are my two Heartbreakers. Just like my two Zendaya's First Colts, one of them is for movies and the other one is for shows. The one on the left's name is Juno, and the one on the right's name is Geronimo. Next is my Black Proud Arabian filly, and her name is Nara. She has a 4th place from a show. Here we have the sister to Dreamer, and her name is Tess. And finally, one of my only Peter Stones, my beautiful bay weanling, Avila. Here's my little Welsh pony stablemate Conga, and most of them are customs actually. The one on the far left is a custom of a horse that I rode in Pennsylvania a couple years ago. Her name is Rain. I'll insert a picture right here. The one next to her was a collab at Breyer Cannon on Instagram and of me. She actually painted this horse, and we actually did a trade. I painted her a stablemate and she painted me one. And then when she got here at my house, I just shaded her a little bit more and redid her eyes. But yeah, make sure to go follow Breyer Cannon on Instagram because she does really nice artwork and she also has amazing photography. Next to that one is a little custom I did a couple years ago, and she is a silver bay and I still love her to bits. And finally is one of the original Welsh ponies that I just bought at a Breyer store. And finally, the last horse on this shelf is Marigold from Breyer Fest. I still haven't given him a name, so make sure to comment some suggestions down below. And here is the overview of the third shelf. Now we're moving on to my favorite ladies and to my favorite part of my whole entire collection. As you guys may know, my favorite Breyer mold is Bluegrass Bandit, and to be honest, a lot of the models in this mold are very expensive, so I'm proud of myself for having 4. Starting off is the original Bluegrass Bandit, and I named her Paris. She also has a 5th place ribbon from a show. Second up is the beautiful Repeat the Beat, and I named her Violet. Also, I know that Repeat the Beat in real life is a gelding, but if I show you this, Breyer did not add any man parts to this horse, so technically this horse is still a mare. Which is the reason being I named her Violet, because if I were to show her in a show, I'd have to show her under a mare because Breyer did not add any male parts. And I also got the box signed, and I cut it out, and I decided to put it in front of her. Next up is definitely one of my favorite Breyers in my whole entire collection, and one of my grails that have been achieved. This is Champagne Wishes. I paid quite a bit of money for her. She is definitely my rarest horse in my collection, and I'm so thankful to have her. And since I'm a big Audrey Hepburn fan, I decided to name her Audrey. She's also in my new channel art if you haven't noticed. Lastly is this old custom I did. I actually did her a year ago, but I don't know. I think she's a little bit too wild for me. If I take her out, you can tell she's a very, very loud bay, so I might shade her a little bit more. Also, she looks very orange on camera. Trust me, she's actually not that orange in real life. And she doesn't have a name quite yet, so I think once I shade her a little bit more and make her not as elaborate, I think I will name her. Moving on to my small Croix de Chama Conga, we're going to start with Chanel, and her name is Serene. And here are her lovely ribbons. Here we have one of my newer Breyers, Beachcomber, and I don't have a name for her yet, so make sure to comment name suggestions. And here are my two Banks vanillas. The one on the left's name is Alice, and the one on the right I'm going to paint. And finally we're going to end with my small Make-A-Wish conga. Here is Smoke and Mirrors, and I named her Amira. Next to her is O.T. Sarah Monet, and her name is Ginger. And here we have my lovely Make-A-Wish. She is also another grail that I have achieved, and I bought her at Breyer Fest. I don't have a name for her either, so make sure to comment some suggestions. And here's the one and only S Just a Dream, also known as Ariel. And that is the fourth shelf. Here are my two Latigos, and we're going to start off with the Breyer Fest 2017 Bollywood Surprise model. I purchased him at Breyer Fest, and he was actually the color variation I wanted, and his name is Jupiter. Next to him is the beloved Avion. I actually don't have a name for him other than Avion, so I'm just going to call him Avion. And he is Breyer Harley D. Zip. Next to him is Lionheart, also known as Princeton, and next to Princeton is a custom I've had for a while that is done by Breyer Lover Forever on Instagram. I'm actually debating what to do with him. I think I'm gonna sell him because I honestly never use him, so I think he'll be up for sale soon. Here we have Breyer Aurelius, also known as Biden. And here we have Breyer Picasso, also known as Colorado. Next up are my two silvers, and before you scream at me in the comments, I know that this is not their actual position. They're supposed to be rearing, but they don't fit on any of my other shelves rearing. This shelf is the tallest shelf that I have, and see, he doesn't fit, so I have to put him like this or else they won't have a spot on my shelves. On the left is the Where in the World is Pegasus, I believe it's called, in Liver Chestnut Appaloosa, and his name is Flame. And next to him is Matrix, also known as Maverick. Here we have Lanai, and she is the Breyer TLC benefit model, I think. And the horse next to her does not have a name, and I will probably put her up for sale because I never use her. And lastly, these are my two Pred Arabian horses. This girl I'm actually going to customize. I found her at an antique store, and this one is my Breyer Fest model that I got signed by a bunch of people from the Instagram meet. And this is the fifth shelf. Moving on to my last and final shelf, these are what I call my Misfits, which means they don't really have a buddy to go with. Starting here is the Breyer Let's Go Riding model, also known as Jade. Here is Cartolema Emma, and I named her Onyx. This is the Breyer 2012 Christmas horse Noche Buena, and his name is Savior. Breyer Gypsy Vonner next to him, his name is Riptide. This is my Breyer Partly Cloudy, and her name is Zamara. Next to Zamara is my beautiful Breyer Don't Look Twice, also known as Kelly. She stars in Avion as well. I also forgot about poor Lionheart. He's in Avion as well. He needs to get his spotlight. And then this is Breyer Argyle, and his name is Myron, and here are his lovely ribbons. This is another one of my favorite horses. He is a custom on the Newsworthy mold. He actually used to be Baloo, but I painted him to look like a horse that I used to ride at my old stable named Chucky. So this is Chucky, and he's actually passed away, which is why I painted him, because it's kind of like a memorial for him. But he does not have a stand, so he's kind of just chilling on this bench here. But yes, this is him, and he is absolutely gorgeous. This guy's Breyer name I do not remember, so I'll put it on the screen. And he does not have a name. I'm going to either be selling him or customizing him, then selling him, but I'm not sure yet. So he's kind of just chilling here. And lastly, we have my other Peter Stone weanling. But she's also chilling because I'm going to sell her because I never use her and she's not really my favorite. And that is the last shelf. These are my two Misfit models that don't really fit on the shelf, so they're just chilling over here on my drawers. This is the Breyer Fest 2017 Celebration model, and his name is Nazruddin, but I renamed him to Navir. And then this is Taylor Swift, a custom I did a while ago. One day I'll do a video on the history of Taylor Swift, but for now, I'm not going to explain anything. This is her special stance, and pure beauty is all I have to say. So this is my full collection as of October 25th, 2017. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all your continued support, and through the years I have managed to somehow reach 500 subscribers, which to me is absolutely crazy because I never thought I'd get there in the first place. When I reached 20 subscribers in the beginning, I absolutely freaked out, and I never thought that today I'd be able to reach 500 subscribers. My 500 subscriber special video is already in the makes, so just stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe to Horse Lover 16 if you want to have more videos like this, and make sure to like the video if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
If you like to do the things you know that we shouldn't do, then baby, I'll